verse 18. Read it again for him.
And if the king Sennacherib has slain any when he was come and fled from Judea.
Why did King Sennacherib fled from Judea? See if your brothers study. Why did he flee from Judea? What happened? All right. Damn, none of y'all know? Be strong and wrong. Read it for him again.
And if the king Sennacherib has slain any when he was come and fled from Judea.
Why did Sennacherib flee from Judea? What happened? What's the history on that? Why did he flee from Judea? Dang, I ain't teaching the brothers this in the circle. Huh? All right, Pastor Mike, be strong and wrong. Come on. Why did Sennacherib flee from Judea? All right. Pastor Mike, the head's wrong. You should know. You know what I want? Yeah, get that. Is the mic on? No. No. All right, watch this. Y'all put this precept down, man. Read that.
2 Chronicles, chapter 32, verse 21.
Let me get there with you. 2 Chronicles. Yeah, you start, all right. Hold on. Go ahead.
2 Chronicles, chapter 32, verse 9.
Read.
After this did Sennacherib, king of Assyria, send his servants to Jerusalem, but he himself laid siege against Lachish, and all his power with him, unto Hezekiah, king of Judah, and unto all Judah that were at Jerusalem, saying, Thus saith Sennacherib, king of Assyria, whereon do ye trust that ye abide in the siege in Jerusalem? Doth not Hezekiah persuade you to give over yourselves to die by famine and by thirst, saying, The Lord our God shall deliver us out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Hath not the same Hezekiah taken away his high places and his altars, and commanded Judah and Jerusalem, saying, You shall worship before one altar, and burn incense upon it?
What verse you at? Verse 12. Go ahead.
Know ye not what I and my fathers have done unto all the peoples of other lands? Were the gods of the nations of those lands any ways able to deliver their lands out of mine hand? Who was there among all the gods of those nations?
So Sennacherib is talking crazy trash right now to Hezekiah, King Hezekiah of Judah. Talking crazy, reckless, right? Go ahead.
Who was there among all the gods of those nations that my fathers utterly destroyed, that could deliver his people out of mine hand?
All right, let's jump. Verse 21. Yes.
Verse 21. And the Lord sent an angel.
Oh, we got to jump to. Whoa. Keep reading. Go back to 14.
Yes, sir. Verse 14. Who was there?
Oh, now y'all remember. Now they remember what happened. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's it. Come on, man. Read that. Go ahead.
Who was there among all the gods of those nations that my father utterly destroyed, that could deliver his people out of mine hand, that your God should be able to deliver you out of mine hand? Now, therefore, let not Hezekiah deceive you, nor persuade you on this manner, neither yet believe him. For no God of any nation or kingdom was able to deliver his people out of mine hand.
So he's trying to sway the minds of the people. Okay, he trying to say to look, don't put your trust in Hezekiah and his nonsense that he's talking. There's no king or anybody that was able to withstand my army, withstand me and my army. We conquered everybody. So now you're gonna put your trust in this guy now to let him tell you that y'all gonna be okay? Hell, that ain't how it going down. That's how he's talking. He's talking reckless. Go ahead. And so he's trying to put doubt in our minds. He's trying to put doubt in our minds that damn, maybe, yeah, it's better if we just surrender and just, right? Go ahead.
And out of the hand of my fathers. How much less shall your God deliver you out of mine hand?
You see that? Now, he like, how much less shall your God deliver you out of my hand? Go ahead.
And his servant spake yet more against the Lord God and against his servant Hezekiah. And he wrote also letters to rail on the Lord God of Israel.
Damn.
And to speak against him, saying, as the gods of the nations of other lands have not delivered their people out of mine hand, so shall not the God of Hezekiah deliver his people out of mine hand.
Read.
Then they cried with a loud voice in a Jew's speech unto the people of Jerusalem that were on the wall, to affright them.
You see that? To do what?
To affright them.
To affright us. Go ahead.
And to trouble them.
And to trouble us. Put doubt in our mind. Scare us. It's a scare tactic. That's all it was. It was a scare tactic. Go ahead.
That they might take the city. And they spake against the God of Jerusalem, as against the gods of the people of the earth, which were the work of the hands of men. And for this cause Hezekiah the king, and the prophet Isaiah the son of Amoz, prayed and cried to heaven. And the Lord sent an angel, which cut off.
Listen good. Read verse 21 slow.
And the Lord sent an angel, which cut
so
off.
God, the Most High sent an angel. Go ahead.
Which cut off all the mighty men of valor, and the leaders and captains in the camp of the king of Assyria.
So the angel came through the camp and whooped behind. Look, I'm going to say it. He whooped ass. Straight up. Go ahead.
So he returned with shame.
Him alone. The angel alone by himself. Go ahead.
So he returned with shame of face to his own land.
So now, read that part again.
And the Lord sent an angel, which cut off all the mighty men of valor and the leaders and captains of the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with shame of face to his own land.
So he returned with shame of face to his own land. Now, when you read in 2 Kings, it tells you the angel killed 185,000. 185,000 of Sennacherib's men. Okay. Dang. Hey, y'all got that article? Man. Oh, 1 second, Israel. 1 second. There's an article that I pulled a couple classes back. Couple classes back. Let me see. You gotta say something real quick. Yo, real quick.
Make sure y'all subscribe.
Tell these brothers to study right here. They don't know who Sennacherib is.
Make sure y'all have your pens and your pads. Take good notes. Write the precepts down in your Bibles.
Bro, that's what I be saying. Cap always get on me for you gotta come different.
Make sure y'all studying too.
Dang. Just make sure y'all studying, all right? Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Hey, y'all know what I'm talking about? It was an article. It was a man. Yeah, dude. You know what I'm talking about? The actual event. Yeah, they described the actual event. Matter of fact, hey, go to the prism. Go to that the Sennacherib prism. Go there real quick. Yeah. You can go there real quick. Sennacherib's prison. Now, I don't, if y'all find the other article, it's not an article, it's a book that I wanted. Let me see if I got it somewhere. I have it somewhere. I know I do. All right, yeah, you can blow that up. Yeah, you start reading. I'm gonna still go ahead. You can read that.
Sennacherib's Prism. The monument known as Sennacherib's Prism is a fascinating artifact from Assyria's past. It gives a different account from the Bible about an important event in Israel's history. A siege against Jerusalem conducted by King Sennacherib of Assyria, ruled from 705 to 681 BC, about 690 BC in Isaiah 36 and 37. The 15-inch high clay prism contains well-preserved Assyrian script that verifies the attack on Jerusalem and King Hezekiah of Judah by Assyrian foes.
Right, go ahead.
As to Hezekiah the Jew, he did not submit to my yoke, the prism reads. I laid siege to 46 of his strong cities, walled forts, and to countless small cities in their vicinity and conquered them. Hezekiah I made a prisoner in Jerusalem, his royal residence like a bird in a cage. While Sennacherib's siege against Jerusalem is a verified historical fact, it is interesting that Sennacherib's account does not mention how the siege ended.
Right. So, all right, I'm sorry. Read go back to while Sennacherib's siege against Jerusalem. Go ahead.
While Sennacherib's siege...
Hey, go up a little higher again. Go up a little higher again. Right there. Start at the 50-inch high clay prism.
The 15-inch high clay prism contains well-preserved Assyrian script.
So the Assyrian scribes wrote on this prism right here. Okay, they wrote everything on this prism. Go ahead. Let's see what's written on the prism.
That verifies the attack on Jerusalem by King Hezekiah of Judah by Assyrian forces. As to Hezekiah the Jew, he did not submit to my yoke, the prism reads.
See that? So Hezekiah didn't submit. He didn't surrender. Go ahead.
I laid siege to 46 of his strong cities, walled forts, and to countless small cities in their vicinity, and conquered them.
Read.
Hezekiah I made a prisoner in Jerusalem, his royal residence like a bird in a cage.
So, meaning what? He besieged Jerusalem. He surrounded it. That's what he meant by he made him like a prisoner in Jerusalem. Because they surround the whole army, the Assyrian army surrounded Jerusalem. Go ahead.
While Sennacherib's siege against Jerusalem is a verified historical fact, it is interesting that Sennacherib's account does not mention how the siege ended.
So understand, it's an historical fact that this went down. The Bible's a true book. This went down, right? It says, while Sennacherib's siege against Jerusalem is a verified historical fact, it is interesting that Sennacherib's account does not mention how the siege ended. Why is that missing? Read on.
This leads to suspicion among historians that the siege failed.
Right. Hey, don't put that in there. We surrounded him. Do not mention what happened. Read.
Since the Assyrians never mentioned their defeats on their official records.
Right. We have it, though. The Bible got it. We don't miss nothing. Most High don't miss nothing. We got it recorded. But see, these other nations, they think they slick. They don't put their defeats in their records.
Right.
Why you don't put your defeats in there? Because it's going to make them look soft. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to put your, nah. Yeah, right. I ain't take an L. No losses. There ain't no losses. We got your losses. We have them. We have them in the Bible. Thank you. Read it again.
Since the Assyrians never mentioned their defeats on their official records, only their victories.
Right, only their victories. Hey, well, I ain't get there yet, but just like, I'm going to bring it up to today. Who do Esau say civilization started with? They say it started with the Greeks, right? And in school, only thing you learn about is how civilized the Greeks was, how political, how they carried, you know what I'm saying? Just how Esau was. Everything started with them. Everybody white, right? But they don't mention the defeat with the Maccabees. You would never know about that. Why is that history missing? Going back, read that again.
This leads to suspicion among historians that the siege failed, since the Assyrians never mentioned their defeats on their official records.
Right. No nation is going to mention defeats. Okay? No nation is going to mention their defeats by us. Understand that. So that's why I brought up to today, you learn about the Greeks and so forth, but they don't, like, damn, what is the history with the Maccabees? You would never learn that in school. Your enemies ain't going to teach you that. That we whipping they behind. That the Feast of Dedication is for y'all. For us, they're not going to teach you that. Because why? They're not going to mention their defeats. All right? But like I said, we have them. We got to record it. All right? Read on.
Only their victories. The biblical account indicates that Sennacherib suffered a crushing defeat.
Hey, that's why they took the Apocrypha out the Bible. Right. That's why I was going. That's why you would never hear about the Apocrypha. It's a book of revolt. And then we gonna get to the Greeks, but like they said, evils were multiplied at that time. So now you look, you think your enemy's gonna teach you that? Nah, hell no. They ain't gonna teach you that evil started with us, that evils multiply with us. Okay, we are not letting you blacks know that y'all whipped our behinds during the Maccabean War. We are not teaching you that. It's not happening. All right, but we gonna bring it out. Read.
The biblical account indicates that Sennacherib suffered a crushing defeat in the siege of Jerusalem because of divine intervention.
That's right. Go ahead.
During the night, thousands of soldiers in the Assyrian army died through the action of the angel of the Lord. 2 Kings 19, verse 35.
Read.
Some scholars believe God used a deadly plague as an instrument of judgment against the enemies of his people. Rulers of the ancient world used monuments such as this prism on which to record their exploits. These documents of stone and clay have survived for centuries in the rubble and ruin of ancient cities. They provide valuable insights into life in Bible times, confirming and in many cases adding valuable information about biblical events.
Letting you know the Bible's a true book. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to 2 Chronicles and finish reading, and then we're going to go back to Tobit.
2 Chronicles chapter 32, verse 21. And the Lord sent an angel, which cut off all the mighty men of valor and the leaders and captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with shame of face to his own land.
So now Sennacherib returned with shame of face. So now, reading the book here, now you understand why he didn't record that. That was a shameful act that happened to him. After you talked all that trash, you ran your mouth all that time to suffer a crushing defeat, slaughter. So now you go home. you running back home. Now you see why. Now let's go back to Tobit. Let's link it up, precept upon precept.
Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 18. And if the king Sennacherib had slain any, when he was come and fled from Judea.
Now, I'm going to ask you brothers again, why did he flee from Judea? Jonathan?
He fled from Judea because he seen all his men get killed.
Right. He's seen all his men. How many?
About 100,000.
No. How many men? Pass to the brother right here. What's your name again?
Nehemiah, sir.
Nehemiah. How many men?
140,000.
All right, y'all making up numbers. Yeah, he making up numbers. Read that. No, give it a Hez. Come on, Hez.
Gotcha.
Bring it home.
As it's written in 2 Kings 19 and 35.
Read that.
2 Kings chapter 19, verse 35. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 184,500.
So a score is 20. All right? Remember that. A score is 20. 4 score is what? 80. So he is 185,000 men. All right? 185,000 men. All right? Drop that. You go back to Tobit. Thank you.
Tobit, chapter 1, verse 18. And if the king Sennacherib has slain any, when he was come and fled from Judea, I buried them privily. For in his wrath he killed many.
So now he comes back home. Remember, it said he ran back home in shame for what happened. Now he comes back. He's seeing the same people that just killed his men. Right? He tight right now, man. He's like, yo, what the hell? So now now we being persecuted. All right, now Northern Kingdom of Israel is being persecuted right now. Okay? So in that persecution, Tobit was still burying us within the during that time period, during that persecution that we went through, right? Go ahead, read it again.
And if the king Sennacherib had slain any, when he was come and fled from Judea, I buried them privily. For in his wrath he killed many, but the bodies were not found when they were sought for of the king.
Read.
And when one of the Ninevites went and complained of me to the king, that I buried them, I hid myself. Understanding that I was sought for to be put to death, I withdrew myself for fear.
So now Tobit. So remember the title of the class is called Persecutions, plural, in Captivity for Keeping God's Laws. All right? Understand, persecutions in captivity for keeping God's laws. Tobit's in captivity right now. All right? Sennacherib is pissed. He comes back. He lost. He come back. He's killing all of us. Now we being persecuted. All right? So now Tobit is still Tobit is he's burying us right now. He's burying us. Everybody that he's slain of our people, Tobit done buried them. So they looking, he's like, what the hell? He's like, where the bodies at? Because he throwing us off cliffs. He doing whatever to us. We being persecuted right now. Some persecution going on. So he throwing us off cliffs. He doing whatever to us. Tobit's burying us. Now he like, yo, who the hell is burying the people that I'm killing? Because he want to look at dead body. He want to look at, you know what I mean? That do what? That pacifies anger. Right. I ain't get defeated. You see what I'm doing? I ain't get defeated. Right? So it pacifies anger. So read on. What verse we at? 19?
Yes, sir.
Read 19 again.
And when one of the Ninevites went and complained of me to the king.
So you will see this pattern right here, verse 19. This is a known pattern. And when one of the Ninevites went and complained of me to the king, go ahead.
That I buried them and hid myself, understanding that I was sought for to be put to death.
So now Tobit is on the run. He's on the run now. Go ahead.
I withdrew myself for fear.
Read.
Then all my goods were forcibly taken away.
So all his stuff was taken away. Go ahead.
Now
Tobit is going through persecution right now. Go ahead.
Neither was there anything left me beside my wife Anna and my son Tobias.
All he had was family. All he had was his family. Go ahead.
And there passed not 55 days before two of his sons killed him. And they fled into the mountains of Ararat. And Sennacherib, Sarchedonus, his son reigned in his stead, who appointed over his father's accounts and over all his affairs Achaicurus, my brother, Achaicurus, my brother, and Anael's son, and Achaicurus, entreating for me, I returned to Nineveh. Now Achaicurus was cupbearer and keeper of the signet, and steward and overseer of the accounts. And Sarchedonus appointed him next unto him, and he was my brother's son.
Right. So, letting you know, Tobit went through persecution. This is a persecution we suffered during the Assyrian captivity. Okay? But, read verse 19 again.
And when one of the Ninevites went and complained of me to the king, that I buried them and hid myself, understanding that I was sought for to be put to death, I withdrew myself for fear.
I'm going to show you this in every captivity over and over again. All right, I'm going to show you this. Verse 19 happened over and over again in each captivity. All right, even now. All right, so you always had somebody that was close to the king. Like, yo, there's some people that that's keeping these strange laws. That's amongst us. All right. So this is the Assyrian captivity. Let's get the Babylonian captivity. All right. Let's get the Babylonian captivity. Give me Daniel, the book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 1. Start.
Daniel, chapter 3, verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. Then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image of Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up.
Read.
And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Then an herald cried aloud, "To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up."
What does this sound like? What does this sound like? Pledge of Allegiance, man. The stars, what they call it, the Star Spangled Banner they sing at the the NFL games. Okay, this is what this sound like, right? Go ahead.
Verse 6.
The national anthem. National anthem. Go ahead.
And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all.
Read verse 6 again.
Verse 6. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
So it said, whosoever did not fall down and bow and worship this image in the same hour, right? In the same hour, you was going to be cast into a fiery burning furnace. All right. So decisions being made right now. But you got those that's like, nah. Straight up, I'm straight up, I'm falling down, worshiping that joint. I ain't going to no burning fiery furnace, right? Go ahead.
Verse 7. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews.
Here we go. Remember, I told you this. You will see this same pattern. Read it again.
Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews.
So remember, Assyrian captivity, you had Ninevites that came and accused Tobit at that time. All right, for what he was doing. Now, here we are, another nation, the Babylonians now. Now they're accusing us. Go ahead.
They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image.
Right. Then you make I know for sure you made a decree. Then you make a mandate. Then you pass a law. I know you passed a law. I was there when you wrote the law. I was there. I seen you put the seal, right? But guess what? There's some people amongst us who don't care about this law that you made, King. They don't give a damn about the law that you just made. You know how long it took us to come up with this? You know how long it took us to build the image? And then you have people that's going to disobey you, King? Think about what you think it just went down like that. Like, look, King, there's people that don't worship. No, they went in. They went deep. They went in. Because they got to, the whole point is they want to destroy us. They want to destroy us, man. So they're going to go in like, yo, look, you know how long it took you to build this image? We worked hard on this. And you got these Negroes, these niggas around that don't want to worship this. They disrespecting you. You the king. Right? You the president. Wow. Go ahead.
Verse 11, and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar,
What verse you at?
verse 14.
Go ahead.
Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do ye not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up?
Now, I'm gonna ask y'all a question. What law would we have been breaking if we worship that image? What law?
The first law, thou shalt not have any other gods before the Lord your God. Exodus chapter 20, verse 3.
All right, all praises, all praises. Let's get that.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
No, read on.
Sir. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Right. So the commandment, Lord said, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." Even going back to Jeroboam when he made the two calves. They was in sin. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Now, do that mean we can't have images? No, we're allowed to have images. Carry an image. If you got money in your pocket, there's an image on it. Okay? You have family photos, that's an image. Those are images. Like leadership always bring out with King Solomon. He had images of lions. Okay, we always had images. For example, give me Psalms. I think Bishop just brought Psalm 74. Yeah, let me see that. Let me see. Hey, we on YouTube? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, verse 5.
Yes, sir. Psalm chapter 74 and verse 5. A man was famous according as he had lifted up axes upon the thick trees. But now they break down the carved work thereof at once with axes and hammers.
Right. The carved work is what? We had carvings. We had images, man. Okay, we had images all over. It says the carved works. Okay, it says, but now they break down. No, it says a man was famous according as he had lifted up axes upon the thick trees. But now they break down the carved work thereof at once with axes and hammers. So we had images. All right, we always had images. But let's go back to Exodus. What is the Most High talking about?
Exodus
He
chapter
explained further what he meant.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them.
That's the whole point. We are not to bow down and serve them. That's what Jeroboam had us doing. He had us bowing down and serving calves. Okay? That's what he had us doing. That's what Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king, that's what he wanted to do. Bow down and serve an image. A golden image that he put together. All right? That's idolatry. It's called idolatry. Let's go back.
Daniel chapter 3 and verse 14.
Let me get there with you. Go ahead.
Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?
Hey, but verse 8, read verse 8 again. What I want you to see is how the other nations move, man, how they move. Okay, go ahead. Read verse 8 again.
Verse 8. Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews.
Go ahead.
They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
So, like I said before, you will see this same pattern. All right, like I said, I showed you in the Assyrian captivity. Now we in the Babylonian captivity. Okay, then I'm gonna show you in the Persian and Mede captivity. Same pattern. All right, go ahead.
There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the provinces of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do ye not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up?
Now, I want you to see how Daniel, Shadrach, Abednego, the spirit they were rolling in, man. How our forefathers got down. All right? Watch the spirit, how they were rolling. Go ahead.
Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the images which I have made? Well, but if you worship not, you should be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
So he putting them on trial right there. Like, look, y'all get ready to play this music. Let me see what they're about. Go ahead.
And
Let
who
me
is
see if this is true. What these Babylonians is talking about. Go ahead.
and who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace.
Hey, listen to what he said. He said, we are not careful how we going to answer you. We're not careful how we going to answer you. What we say is, look, it is what it is. That's how he's coming. Because otherwise, he'd have been like, look, we must be careful how we answer him. He said, nah, we ain't going to be careful how we answer you. It is what it is. Read.
If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king.
So he said, listen, if it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. Go ahead.
And he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king.
Read.
But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Look, we ready to die even if the Lord deliver us or not. It is what it is. That's how our forefathers, that's the spirit they were rolling in. That's the same spirit we got to have on us. We not at that point. We got to get to that point. We got to be ready to die for this truth, man. That's how our forefathers was rolling. They was ready to die for this, man. They like, look, it is what it is. I'm not even going to be careful how I answer you in this matter. Look, I'm not doing it. Whether the Lord deliver me or not, it is what it. I'm not doing it. Sorry. Man, read that again, man.
Verse 16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Right. Why? Because we wasn't afraid of death. Wasn't afraid of death. So he said, look, whether the Lord deliver us or if he don't deliver us, look, we die. We always knew we going to come back. It is what it is. We knew that wasn't it. Go ahead.
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury in the form of his...
So he mad as hell now. He like, yo, what the hell he just told me? These dudes talking reckless, man. Go ahead. To the king. They talking reckless to me. I'm the king. I made an image. I signed a document. I signed a law. I put a mandate out. And they going against it. Go ahead. And remember, the king is the one that set them up.
Right.
The king, hold on. Wait. I put y'all in power. I gave y'all y'all positions. If it wasn't for me, y'all wouldn't have the position you have. So now you look at me, you talk down on me. You're not gonna worship my image? Yeah, damn, these are dudes I got around me. Like these are damn, I'm standing there like, yeah, that's who you got around you. Yeah, we not doing it. We keeping it real. That's how our forefathers rolled. They kept it real, man. All right, read on. Where we at?
Verse 19.
Read.
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yeah, he's snapping right now. He don't know. He can't even contain himself. Go ahead.
Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it wont to be heated.
Man, I don't even know what that means. Yeah, I don't even. Yo, read that again. Let me see. He wanted the furnace heated. Read that again.
Therefore,
what verse is that?
Verse 19.
Go ahead.
Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it wont to be heated.
Damn. They in there breaking knobs on the furnace, man. This is they turning it past where it's supposed to go. Like, yo, go ahead. Read on.
And he commanded the And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace.
So now this is our forefather Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. This is persecution right now. Going through persecution in the Babylonian captivity. Why? For not bowing down to the image. Okay? But I'm showing you how we suffered persecution. I'm showing you the pattern of how it all came, how it starts and come about. You understand? But also how our forefathers rolled. Even with Tobit. Tobit was still burying us, man. He didn't give it. He didn't care. This is the spirit our forefathers rolling in. Go ahead.
Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and
the commandment was urgent. Yo, make this now. Put them in there right now. Go ahead.
And the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Damn, so the men that was trying to put them in the furnace was getting burnt up. Read that again.
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Right, because the king's commandment was urgent, the men ain't had no time to prepare themselves to put on something to protect themselves from the fire. You know what I mean? Like, damn, king, can I get a garment? Yeah, do you have some type of protective PPE equipment for us? Nah, you a casualty. Make sure they get into the fire. That's how the kings roll. It was urgent, so that's what he meant. They didn't have time to even get nothing for themselves. They had to hurry up and put them in there. So whatever they had on, it was what it was. Read it again.
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Damn. Go ahead.
Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered,
so he's like, yo, what the hell didn't we? So I guess it was like a pit. You can look down look down into it or whatever. Go ahead.
They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and
Dang.
they have no hurt,
Walking 4 men loose walking in the midst of fire. Go ahead.
and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
Damn. Read that part again.
And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
The form of the fourth man is like the Son of God. The form of the fourth man is like the Son of God. Read on.
Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their head singed, neither was their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them.
Hey, get 3 holy children. Get 3 holy children and start at verse 23. Matter of fact, start at verse 1. Start at verse 1 and we jump to 23.
3 holy children, verse 1. And they walked in the midst of the fire, praising God and blessing the Lord.
So Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was walking in the midst of the fire, praising the Lord, man. Jump to verse 23.
Verse 23. And the king's servants that put them in ceased not to make the oven hot with rosin, pitch, tow, and small wood.
So this is what they kept heating up the furnace with. So they kept putting that stuff in, kept putting it in, trying to heat it up more and more and more and more. Go ahead.
So that the flame streamed forth about the furnace 49 cubits. And it passed through and burned those Chaldeans it found about the furnace.
Right, he was getting tore up. Go ahead.
But the angel of the Lord came down into the oven together with Azarias and his fellows, and smote the flame of the fire out of the oven.
So now we got some understanding of what happened. When the king said there's a fourth man in it like the Son of God. Okay, read verse 26 again. This is what happened.
But the angel of the Lord came down into the oven together with Azarias and his fellows, and smote the flame of the fire out of the oven.
So the angel of the Lord came down and smote the flame of the fire out of the oven. Go ahead.
And made the midst of the furnace as it had been a moist whistling wind.
Read.
So that the fire touched them not at all, neither hurt nor troubled them.
See that? So the fire didn't even touch them. Okay? All right. So all praises, all praises, all praises. All right. So that was the Babylonian captivity, persecution during that time. Okay? Now, let's jump to the Persian captivity. Jump to the Persian captivity. Let's get Esther and the Apocrypha. We're gonna read up a little. Let me see. Probably start at verse 1. So remember, I said the same pattern always went down as far as how the other nations dealt with us and how persecution came about. All right. So now we at the Persian cap. Now we're gonna check the Persian captivity to see the same rhetoric. All right, watch this.
Esther, chapter 13 and verse 1. The copy of the letters was this: the great king Artaxerxes writeth these things to the princes and governors that are under him from India unto Ethiopia.
Matter of fact, hold on. Before we get this, let's get give me first Esdras. We're going to go all the way back to before Ezra. We're going to go back to, let me see, Zerubbabel. Chapter 5. Let me see. 1 second, 1 second. When they started building the temple. Nah. Chapter 5, probably start at verse 70. I was looking, there was a letter. I'm looking for a letter. You know the letter? One second, Israel, 1 second. Yeah, but remember, there was, what is it? Let me see. Remember, there was some other nations in our land when we went back. They was in our land, and they wrote letters because they seen us building the temple. I thought it was in Ezra too. Which one? First Ezra? Ezra? Let me see, you get that? It just came to my head. So this is the Persian and Mede This is the Persian and Mede captivity right here. You said Ezra 7 and 11, right? Yeah, that's what I want. Where the other nations was writing the letters, like, yo, you got people, they building the temple and they building it pretty fast. Like, did you tell them that he could do that? Where's that at? 5 and 4. Yes. Um, yeah, what start at verse. Let me see. Hold on. 1 second.
Oh, right here, chapter 4 and verse 8.
Yep.
For whom the
Whoa, but we're gonna start at verse 1. Chapter 4, verse 1. All right, we got it.
Ezra chapter 4 and verse 1. Now when the adversaries of Judah
All
and
praises. Go ahead.
Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel.
So listen, it says now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple. Read it again.
Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel.
Read.
Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you.
So you got the other nations, our enemies. They come to us like, yo, what's up, man? Let us build with you. Let us build with you. You got Esau. Let us join you guys. Let us join you guys. Go ahead.
For we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Asher.
You see that? So they coming real sneaky. We seek your God like you do. We seek the same God. You know why they say? Because why? They in our land. They in our land too. So they like, look, we do the same. We seek your God just like you do. Let us help you build. Go ahead.
Which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua, the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel, said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God.
You see that? How our forefathers rolling? You ain't got nothing to do with us, man. Keep it moving. This is for our nation. This ain't for you. This is for our nation. Go ahead.
But we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, hath commanded us.
Right. Why? Because remember, King Cyrus gave us a proclamation to go back to our land to do what? To build the temple. Okay, go ahead.
Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose.
Right, hold on. So it said verse 4, read verse 4 again.
Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building,
Go ahead.
and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose.
How you think that happened? Give me First Esdras now. Go to First Esdras 5. Yeah, start at verse 70. It says, Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building. They troubled us at this time in building. How do they weaken our hands? Read that.
First Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 70. Then Zerubbabel and Jesus,
Man, what's
and the
going on,
chief
man?
of the families
Yo.
of Israel.
Yo, drink some water, man.
Then Zerubbabel and Jesus and the chief of the families of Israel said unto them, It is not for us and you to build together an house unto the Lord our God. We ourselves alone will build unto the Lord of Israel.
Right, saying the same thing in Ezra. Go ahead.
According as Cyrus the king of the Persians hath commanded us.
Read.
But the heathen of the land, lying heavy upon the inhabitants of Judea, and holding them straight, hindered their building.
You see that? So they hindered our building. They weakened our hands at this time. But read on. Let's see. How do they do that?
And holding them straight, hindered their building. And by their secret plots and popular persuasions and commotions, they hindered the finishing of the building all the time that King Cyrus lived.
But there you go. And by their what? Read verse 73 again.
And by their secret plots.
By their secret plots. Their secret plots. Go ahead.
And popular persuasions.
And popular persuasions. Media. Okay, you get the mass on their, they get the mass on their side. They manufacturing manufacturing like trying to defame us. Propaganda. There you go. Propaganda. Thank you. Propaganda. Go ahead.
And popular persuasions and commotions. They hindered the finishing of the building all the time that King Cyrus lived. So they were hindered from building for the space of 2 years until the reign of Darius.
So for 2 years, this was going on. 2 years. They troubled us. Okay? They troubled us by what? Defaming us with their popular persuasions, with their secret plots, with their COINTELPRO at this time. They probably infiltrating us at this time. All type of, trust me, all what you see went on back then, same thing today. And all our captivities that was going on. Okay, putting a bad name on us. All we was trying to do is build a temple for our Lord. All right, that's it. But the enemies don't like that. They don't like when you make big moves. They don't like that. The fact that we know that we Israelites, that's already enough for them, man. They can't take that. That's putting fear in their heart. That's putting fear in their mind. That's why what leadership was bringing out in class, all these classes that's coming out. After the monumental blitz that we just did, they is raw, they mad. They is pissed. So guess what? You don't think secret plots is going down right now? You don't think popular persuasions is being thought of right now? You don't think that commotions is being being thought of right now, all these things are going down to hinder us, to try to destroy us. It happened during this time. It will happen again. All right? It will happen again. Don't think that what we did down at the Barclays, that was, we was going to do that and and that's it. We going to be good. Yo, nah. The enemy, it ain't going down like that. The enemy like, nah. Hey, just like how how they went to the king when in Babylon. They went to the king like, yo, you really gonna let them? You really understand? They came to Brooklyn. You really we run this? Like, you seriously? Right? They anti-Semitic. Come on, really? We worked hard for this. We worked hard for this. We cannot let this happen. And that's what Bishop was showing. They said we cannot. What you think went down? All of this went down. What we reading about, it went down. So to the point, they like, look, we can't let it get greater acceptance. That went down. All of this we reading about, it went down already in this captivity. They already making moves already. Right? Yeah. Yes. That's why we got to download all the classes, everything, man, everything. All right. Because the enemy, he's rough and he's already putting things together. So we got to be prepared. We got to prepare our minds and our spirit. Okay, that's what we got to prepare for. We got to prepare our mind and our spirit. All right? We got to fast. Okay? We got to fast. Fast. Fast and pray. Fast, pray, and apply, man. Like Bishop always says, study, pray, and apply. These are the things we really got to implement at this time right now. All right? Let's read that again.
And by their secret plots and popular persuasions and commotions, they hindered the finishing of the building all the time that King Cyrus lived. So they were hindered from building for the space of 2 years until the reign of Darius.
You brothers that's in the porn and whatever your sin is, this is not the time to be getting caught up in your sin. This ain't the time. All right? So whatever sin you in, get out of it. Fast. Okay? The best if you fast and pray. Get out of that thing. This ain't the time, man. We almost out of here. We almost at the end. We here. Okay? So why let your sin bound you up, lock you in? Why let it get the best of you? At this time? All right? So let's look. We need each other more than ever now. We're gonna need each other more than ever. It's gonna come to that point. We're gonna need each other more than ever. That brother next to you may not like him, but we're gonna need each other more than ever, man. All right. Let's go where we at. All right, let's go back to Ezra. Let's go back to Ezra 5. Go back to Ezra 5. Yes, read that again.
Ezra chapter 4 and verse 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem.
Read.
And in the days of Artaxerxes wrote Bishlam, Mithridath, Tabeel, and the rest of their companions unto Artaxerxes, king of Persia. And the writing of the letter was written in the Syrian tongue and interpreted in the Syrian tongue. Rehum, the chancellor, and Shimshai the scribe wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes, the king, in this sort.
Remember, I say the same thing. This is the pattern. This is how it go down. Go ahead.
Then wrote Rehum Rehum the chancellor, and Shimshai the scribe, and the rest of their companions, the Dinaites, Dinaites, the Arphasakites, the Tarpalites, the Arphasites, the Archivites, the Babylonians, the Susakites, the Dehavites,
The nations. all the other nations. Go ahead.
and the Elamites, and the rest of the nations
See that? And the rest of the nations, read.
whom the great and noble Asnapper brought over, and set in the cities of Samaria, and the rest that are on this side the river, and at such a time.
So those were the nations when we got deported, when Northern Kingdom got deported out of Israel, our land. Those are the nations that he Shalmaneser brought in our place. All right. Let me see. Give me the Jewish. Look up Jewish library. Jewish library. Look up Jewish library and type in Assyrian policy. Yeah, Assyrian policy. Let me see. The first Assyrian to come into direct contact. Yeah. Click the Assyrians. Go down. I think it's in there, right? Yeah, simply even see something but Assyrian was forward in the group. Why they cut off like that? Oh, okay. Deported. Yeah. Go up. You see it? All right. Yeah, read that. You done read it already.
It was the Assyrian monarch Sargon II, 721 to 705 BC, who first forcefully relocated Hebrews after the conquest of Israel, the northern kingdom of the Hebrews. Although this was a comparatively mild deportation and perfectly in line with Assyrian practice, it marks the historical beginning of the Jewish diaspora. This chapter in the Jewish diaspora, however, never has been really written, for the Hebrews deported from Israel seem to have blended in with Assyrian society. And by the time Nebuchadnezzar II conquers Judah in 587 BC, the southern kingdom of the Hebrews, the Israelites deported by Sargon II have disappeared nameless and faceless into the sands of northern Mesopotamia.
Right. So it was their practice to deport us out of our lands. All right. Yeah. Go up some. Let me see. Revolt by the conqueror. Yeah. Yes. Read that.
The Assyrian conquerors invented a new policy toward the conquered. In order to prevent nationalist revolts by the conquered people.
You see that? So in order to prevent nationalist revolt by the conquered people, meaning you and your people got up and rose up against them. So to prevent that, go ahead.
The Assyrians would force the people they conquered to migrate in large numbers to other areas of the empire.
Why? Because that's going to force you to mingle and assimilate with their people. You understand? So if he conquer you, you still in your land. Right. That's your land. You attached to your land. So what we're gonna let's deport them out of their land to detach them from their identity. Okay, so they won't. So and then they'll assimilate amongst our people. Okay? Now you're Assyrian. So now you won't think about even conquering or anything like that. Okay? You won't be a nationalist. Go ahead.
Besides guaranteeing
Now hold on. Now, even though we still knew who we were, we knew who we was at this time. Okay, we still knew we was Israelites and so forth and so on at this time. All right. But we were still following their customs. All right. Read that again.
the Assyrian conquerors invented a new policy toward the conquered. In order to prevent nationalist revolts by the conquered people, the Assyrians would force the people they conquered to migrate in large numbers to other areas of the empire. Besides guaranteeing the security of an empire built off of conquered people of different cultures and languages, these mass deportations of the populations in the Middle East, Mesopotamia, and Armenia turned the region into a melting pot of diverse cultures, religions, and languages.
Sound like that's where America get it from.
Whereas there would be little cultural contact between the conquered and the conquerors in early Mesopotamian history, under the Assyrians, the entire area became a vast experiment in cultural mixing. It was the Assyrian monarch, Sargon II, 721 to 705 BC, who first forcefully relocated Hebrews after the conquest of Israel, the northern kingdom of the Hebrews. Although this was a comparatively mild deportation and perfectly in line with Assyrian practice, it marks the historical beginning of the Jewish diaspora.
So the Assyrians just wanted to confuse your whole nation. They'll put you in another land now, then they'll put another race in your land. They were just confusing everybody. Like, look, now you'll think you part of this land. You won't have no ties to that land. All right. Or if we over here, we're gonna assimilate with them. We're not gonna have ties back to our land. All right, and become nationalists and want to rise up. You understand? Hey, read that nationalist part again. Can you highlight it for me? The Assyrian conquerors.
The Assyrian conquerors invented a new policy toward the conquered in order to prevent nationalist revolts by the conquered people.
That sounds like a black messiah, somebody rising up. A nationalist revolt. That's what's going to happen. A leader's going to rise up amongst us, like, yo, let's take back our land.
That's right.
So they knew to prevent that. They like, nah, we want to prevent that forever happening. So let's put them in another land. Go ahead.
By the conquered people. The Assyrians would force the people they conquered to migrate in large numbers to other areas of the empire. Besides guaranteeing the security of an empire built off of conquered people of different cultures and languages, these mass deportations of the populations in the Middle East, Mesopotamia, and Armenia turned the region into a melting pot of diverse cultures, religions, and languages. Whereas there would be little cultural contact between the conquered and the conquerors in early Mesopotamian history, under the Assyrians, the entire area became a vast experiment in cultural mixing.
All right. Yeah. All right. You can drop that. Hold on. Hey, read. I'm sorry. I'm seeing some stuff. Go back to this chapter. Highlight this chapter in the Jewish diaspora. The bottom of that paragraph. Right there.
This chapter in the Jewish diaspora, however, never has been really written, for the Hebrews deported from Israel seem to have blended in with Assyrian society, and by the time Nebuchadnezzar II conquers Judah in 587 BC, the southern kingdom of the Hebrews, the Israelites deported by Sargon II, have disappeared nameless and faceless into the sands of northern Mesopotamia.
You see that? We ended up blending in. That was their whole purpose. Yeah. We blended in. All right. At this time, give me Psalms 106 and 34.
Psalm chapter 106, verse 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works.
So you had some of us, even during the Assyrian captivity, that learned the works of the Assyrians. Okay? That learned the works of the Assyrian. Read it again.
But were mingled among the heathen.
So we became mingled among the heathen. Now you see Northern Kingdom became mingled among who? The Assyrians. How? They deported us out of our land, put us in their land to prevent any nationalist revolt, any uprisings, any insurrections. Okay? So what happened? We ended up being amongst them and learning their works. Over time, we was there from what? We was there for hundreds of years. Yeah, the Assyrian captivity. Before the Babylonian. All right. Let's go back. Let's go back to Ezra.
Ezra, chapter 4 and verse 11. This is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even unto Artaxerxes the king, thy servants, the men on this side the river, and at such a time, be it known unto the king, that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and the bad city.
You see how they defamed us? This is defamation right here. Be it known now unto the king verse 12. Read verse 12 again.
Be it known unto the king, that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious.
Building the rebellious, go ahead.
And the bad city.
And the bad city. King, look, they building a rebellion. This nation is rebellious. This is a bad city. You letting this go on? You letting this go down? Go ahead.
And have set up the walls thereof, and joined the foundations. Be it known now unto the king, that if this city be builded, and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou shalt endamage the revenue of the kings.
See, the same rhetoric. Right, you gonna lose money at your pocket, king. You letting them, you know who they are? Look, I don't think you should do that. But same pattern. Go ahead.
Now, because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor. Therefore have we sent and certified the king, that search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers.
Damn, he said, look, won't you check the history? Look at the history of your fathers and what they said about these people. Go ahead.
So shalt thou find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city, and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time. For which cause was this city destroyed? We certify the king that, if this city be builded again, and the walls thereof set up, by this means thou shalt have no portion on this side the river.
Go ahead.
Then sent the king an answer unto Rehum the chancellor, and to Shimshai the scribe, and to the rest of their companions that dwelt in Samaria, and unto the rest beyond the river, peace, and at such a time. The letter which he sent unto us have been plainly read before me, and I commanded, and search hath been made, and it is found that this city of old time hath made insurrection against kings, and that rebellion and sedition have been made therein. There have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river, and toll, tribute, and custom was paid unto them. Give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, and that this city be not builded until another commandment shall be given from me.
You see that? So, tell them to stop building. Popular persuasion, man. Secret plots. Commotion. All of that was going down. To the point that, he said, tell them to stop building. So now that hindered us from what we had to do. Go ahead.
Take heed now that ye fail not to do this. Why should damage grow to the hurt of the kings? Now when the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai the scribe and their companions, they went up in haste to Jerusalem unto the Jews, and made them to cease by force and power. Then cease the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. So it ceased until the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
See that? Space of 2 years, man. All right. From there, let's get Esther now. Let's get Esther. So understand, so you have hey, go to the book, the Bible maps and charts, and give me the chart. Let me see. Yeah, go right there, right there, right there. Go top, the top. Let me see. Right. So what I wanted to show you is that during the Persian captivity, you had different events. Like right now, we just reading about Zerubbabel, okay, and them returning and building the temple. Okay, that happened in what 538 BC. Right. Cyrus gave us proclamation to go back. Now we about to read about Esther, the events which took place between 483 471 BC. All right. So that's what we're about to go into that right now with Esther.
Esther, chapter 13 and verse 1. The copy of the letters was this. The great king Artaxerxes writeth these things to the princes and governors that are under him from India unto Ethiopia in 127 provinces. After that I became lord over many nations, and had dominion over the whole world, not lifted up with presumption of my authority, but carrying myself always with equity and mildness. I purpose to settle my subjects continually in a quiet life, and making my kingdom peaceable and open for passage to the utmost coast.
What verse you at?
Verse 2.
Go ahead.
I purpose to settle my subjects continually in a quiet life, and making my kingdom peaceable and open for passage to the utmost coast, to renew peace, which is desired of all men. Verse 3. Now, when I asked my counselors how this might be brought to pass, Haman, that excelled in wisdom among us, and was approved for his constant goodwill and steadfast fidelity, and had the honor of the 2nd place in the kingdom.
Right, so he was second in command of the whole kingdom. He was under the king. Read.
Declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations.
You see what they call us? There's a certain malicious, hateful people. Hateful. Go ahead. Evil people. That's what malicious mean. Go ahead.
That had laws contrary to all nations.
They have laws that's contrary to all nations. Their laws are not like their laws are not like the laws that you set, King. They're not like your laws. They're contrary. Whatever laws you have, with the laws they have are contrary to what you are, whatever mandates and decrees you're putting forth. Right. They're contrary to that. Go ahead.
And continually despise the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms, honorably intended by us, could not go forward.
See that? So with these people around, the kingdom cannot go forward. We got to do something about them. We cannot let this get greater acceptance. We got to do something about this. Their laws, their laws are contrary to our laws. That's what he's saying. And he said, look, if you want to unite, for example, if you want to unite America, you got to get rid of these. Got to get rid of these dudes. Got to get rid of these people. Because their laws are contrary. You can't unite them. We can't be Americans. We can't be Persians. We can't be Assyrians. Romans, Grecians, Babylonians, with these people around. Read it again.
Declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations, and continually despised the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms, honorably intended by us, cannot go forward.
Read.
Seeing then we understand that this people alone is continually in opposition unto all men.
You see that? Say we continually in opposition. Every hour, every breath of their life, they in opposition of us. Go ahead.
Differing in the strange manner of their laws, and evil affected to our state, working all the mischief they can, that our kingdom may not be firmly established. Therefore have we commanded.
You see this? This is secret plots, popular persuasion, all right, commotion, and all of that is going on right here. Again. What, 100 years later? All over again. Same captivity. Go ahead.
Therefore have we commanded that all they that are signified in writing unto you by Haman, who is ordained over the affairs, and is next unto us, shall all, with their wives and children, be utterly destroyed by the sword of their enemies.
Now, Haman was an Edomite. He was Amalek. He was an Edomite. All right. So you already know, they hate our guts. So he's going hard. He want us gone, destroyed, off the earth. Right? Go read it again.
Therefore have we commanded that all they that are signified in writing unto you by Haman, who is ordained over the affairs, and is next unto us, shall all, with their wives and children, be utterly destroyed by the sword of their enemies, without all mercy and pity.
Damn, you see that? Want us straight up dead. Go ahead.
The 14th day of the 12th month Adar of this present year, that they who of old and now also are malicious may in one day with violence go into the grave, and so ever hereafter cause our affairs to be well settled and without trouble.
So you didn't hear this much. Well, because he's Esau. He want us. Yeah, that was that was straight from the spirit, straight up. You didn't hear nothing like that, like, from the other captivities. But this right here, this Esau, this straight from, he want us off the earth, straight up, gone, utterly destroyed, without mercy and pity. Like, straight from the spirit. Like, he spoke that came straight. Listen, that wasn't even him speaking. Yeah, he cried. He really did. He cried, yo. He said, yeah. He red as hell. Red as hell. Like, ah. Read that again, bro.
Verse 6. Therefore have we commanded that all they that are signified in writing unto you by Haman, who is ordained over the affairs, and is next unto us, shall all, with their wives and children, be utterly destroyed by the sword of their enemies, without all mercy and pity, the 14th day of the 12th month Adar of this present year.
He put a date and time on that thing. Look, I need them destroyed on this date now. Go ahead.
That they who of old and now also are malicious may in one day.
So you see how they keep throwing out malicious? Malicious. Look up malicious. Look up malicious. Right, yeah, hate group. Same thing. That's what he's saying. They're a hate group.
Malicious. Characterized by malice, intending or intended to do harm. Spiteful, malevolent, hostile, bitter, venomous.
Aren't these names they put on us today? Yeah, they put these things on us today, man. Like, oh, they a hate group. Huh? Yeah, extremists. Yeah, read on.
Ill-natured, evil, baleful, vindictive, vengeful, vitriolic.
All we have is the Bible. All we have, wow. How much evil, vindictive, vengeful, poisonous, venomous, bitter, hostile, spiteful can we be? Read on.
Rancorous, malign, malignant, pernicious,
mean,
nasty.
Why y'all speak like that? Go ahead.
Harmful, hurtful, mischievous, destructive, wounding, cruel, unkind, defamatory, or
Bitchy.
defamatory, bitchy,
Damn.
catty, malefic, maleficent.
Yeah. So this is no. He keep throwing out that word malicious. Just like keep throwing out the word hate group, extremist, radical. Keep throwing those words out there. For what? Popular persuasion. That's popular. What we reading right here is popular persuasion. That one word, malicious. They are malicious. They are malicious. Then you have all the news media. They're a malicious group. They're a malicious group. Every channel you turn to. I remember Bishop showed that. The news media, the news stations, they was all in cahoots. They was in sync saying the same thing. They're malicious. This is what's going on here. They are malicious. They are malicious. They are a hate group. They're a hate group. Same thing. Go ahead.
Verse 7. That they who of old and now are malicious may in one day with violence go into the grave.
He said in one day with violence. He want all of us destroyed in one day with violence. That's straight from his spirit, man. He couldn't. Go ahead.
And so ever hereafter cause our affairs to be well settled and without trouble.
Oh, they're going to be without trouble after all of that. Go ahead.
Then Mordecai thought upon all the works of the Lord and made his prayer unto him, saying, O Lord, Lord, the King Almighty, for the whole world is in thy power. And if thou hast appointed to save Israel, there is no man that can gainsay thee. For thou hast made heaven and earth, and all the wondrous things under the heaven. Thou art Lord of all things, and there is no man that can resist thee, which art the Lord. Thou knowest all things, and thou knowest, Lord, that it was neither in contempt nor pride, nor for any desire of glory that I did not bow down to proud Haman. For I could have been content with goodwill for the salvation of Israel to kiss the soles of his feet.
So to bring you up to speed, Mordecai, this is Mordecai that you read about in Esther in the Bible. All right, this is Mordecai from the tribe of Benjamin. All right. Now, Esther was his cousin. Esther was his cousin that he raised. Okay. And then she was chosen, the king chose her to be his queen in the room of Vashti. Just to bring you up to speed, in the room of Vashti, all right? But Haman was second in command under the king. This Edomite. Haman was an Edomite. All right. But so remember, they didn't even know who they didn't know who Esther's race. They didn't know who Esther's race was at that time. All right. So they didn't even know her race. But once all this came out, then that's when it started to be known. All right. So Mordecai, he went to her, was like, yo, look, don't think you're gonna be safe. Don't think you're gonna be safe because you next to the king. Nah, the Most High, look, he gonna move you out the way. All right. So that put her in the spirit of like, nah, I gotta, step it up. Okay. So that's what happened here. All right. Yeah, read verse 12.
Thou knowest all things, and thou knowest, Lord, that it was neither in contempt nor pride, nor for any desire of glory that I did not bow down to proud Haman.
Right. So this is how our forefathers, man, they rolled in that spirit like, nah, I ain't doing it. I'm not bowing down to this dude. Man, let's get that. Let's find that. Let's get that in Esther where he wanted everybody to bow down to him. You know how Esau do. Esau try to walk in, they entitled. Because they always feel like today, Esau, like if you talking, Esau come in the midst of your conversation because they feel as though they supposed to be included. Hey, what are you guys talking about? I'm like, nothing, man, get out of here. What you want? I'm talking to my brother. But they always feel as though they're included because they feel as though they're entitled. You know what?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, read that.
Esther, chapter 3 and verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai,
Where you at? Oh, no.
Chapter
Oh,
3.
go ahead.
In verse 3. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. For he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai.
Damn. So then when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. So he was going to just take it out on Mordecai, but then they was like, nah, all his people, they Jews. They got strange laws amongst us, man. So he's like, all right, let's kill them all. Let's kill them all. Go ahead.
Verse 7. In the first month, that is, the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pur, that is, the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is, the month Adar. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. And their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed.
Damn, straight up. Yo, look, if it please you, let me just put in a letter that destroyed them. That's it. That's it. I don't have to say no more. That's all I want, for them to be destroyed. Go ahead.
And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those
Straight up hatred, man. Go ahead.
that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written, and sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, and one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman
The post or the mailman, they have to hasten to get these letters out. All to destroy us, man. All to kill us. And one day, he wanted us all dead. He wanted our whole nation dead in one day. Go ahead.
The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed.
Read on.
When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes, and went out into the midst of the city, and cried with a loud and bitter cry, and came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was a great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, for she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai, and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. Then called Esther for Hatak, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai.
All right, you can drop that. Let's jump. Let's get Esther 9.
Esther chapter 9 and verse 1. In the 12th month, that is the month Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king of Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as had sought their hurt. And
So look, we was ready. We was straight up ready. All right, we wasn't gonna let it just go down like that. We was ready to defend ourselves. All right, we was ready to defend ourselves. Go ahead.
and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people. And all the rulers of the provinces, and the lieutenants, and the deputies, and officers of the king helped the Jews, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword,
That's right.
and slaughter, and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. And in Shushan the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And Parshandatha, and Dalphon, and Aspatha, and Paratha, and Adalia, and Aridatha, and Parmashtha, and Arisai, and Aridai, and Vajezatha. The 10 sons of Ammon, the son of Hamadatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they, but on the spoil laid they not their hand. On that day,
So Haman's sons, we put them to death. Go ahead.
on that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace was brought before the king. And the king said unto Esther the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, and the 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. Or what is thy request further? And it shall be done. Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow also according unto this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. And the king commanded it so to be done. And the decree was given at Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day also of the month Adar, and slew 300 men at Shushan. But on the prey they laid not their hand.
Right. Go ahead.
But the
What
other
verse you at?
verse 16.
Read.
But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood in their lives.
Jump
and
to
stood
20
for their lives.
Jump to 23.
Verse 23. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them. Because Haman the son of Hamadatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast that is, the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his son should be hanged on the gallows.
All praises. Go ahead.
Wherefore they called these days Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore, for all the words of this letter, and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing, and according to their appointed time every year.
All right. So all praises. So that's how the High Holy Day Purim came about. But let's not forget, I know we did a lot of reading, but let's not forget what happened. Remember the title, Persecutions in Captivity for Keeping God's Laws. So I'm still showing you in each captivity how we were under persecution for keeping God's laws. All right? So let's not forget that. How we were in each captivity went through persecution for keeping God's laws. So I'll show you the Assyrian captivity, the Babylonian captivity. This is the Persian Mede. Okay. So in the Persian Mede, I went through what? Zerubbabel. This is Esther. All right. Let me see. I want to do let me see, Nehemiah when he built the wall. Yeah, let's get that. Nehemiah when he built the wall. Yes. So I'm showing you the same pattern in each captivity, how they persecuted us. Same pattern.
Nehemiah.
Nothing different today. Nothing is different. History repeats itself. Go ahead.
Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 9. Then I came to the governors beyond the river and gave them the king's letters. Now the king has sent captains of the army and horsemen with me. When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant.
Hold on. Get me, go back to that, the book. Go back up. All right, so remember Zerubbabel was around 538 BC. Okay, then we just did the event Esther. Okay, was what from 483 to 471 BC. So these are approximate dates around that time. All right. So now we're dealing with the Nehemiah, which came after. All right, which is so they was all in the same captivity at different time periods. Okay, so this is Nehemiah is around 445 to 425 BC. All right. Yeah, go ahead. Then we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to that. I want to do Greece. Do the Greek captivity. We might not get to it though. Go ahead.
Nehemiah chapter 2.
I'm probably gonna shut it down after this.
Verse 10.
Do a part 2. Go ahead.
When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel.
Hold on. Where you at again?
Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 10.
All right. All right, go ahead.
When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, heard of it.
So you got Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, the Japanese. Go ahead.
Heard of it. It grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel.
You see that? So it grieved them, just the other nations, it grieved them exceedingly that there come a man, a nationalist, a black messiah, to seek the welfare of his own people. They don't like that. The other nations hate that. They hate when a man amongst us rise up to seek the welfare of his people. They don't like that thing. That's why in the 60s, J. Edgar Hoover, he came out with the COINTELPRO. Why? You know why? Because they fear black unity. That's the issue. They do not want us uniting. Okay? That is the issue. Read on.
So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. And I arose in the night, I and some few men with me. Neither told I any man what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. Neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I rode upon. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, and to the dung port, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. Then I went on to the gate of the fountain, and to the king's pool, but there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass. Then went I up in the night by the brook, and viewed the wall, and turned back, and entered by the gate of the valley, and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went, or what I did. Neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work. Then said I unto them, Ye see the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more reproach. And I told them of the hand of my God, which was good upon me, and also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, Let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. But when Sanballat the Horonite, and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arabian heard it, they laughed us to scorn, and despised us, and said, What is this thing that ye do? Will ye rebel against the king?
So here we go. What is this thing y'all trying to do? Is y'all going to rebel against the king? So remember, this is the same captivity, but this is a different time period. Okay? So here now they like, look, now you got a Japanese, you got an Arab, and a Horonite. Now they like, yo, what's up? What y'all about to do? What y'all planning? They laughing at us. Laughing at the scorn. Go ahead. Like, y'all really about to rebel against the king? We'll see about that. Go ahead.
Then answered I them, and said unto them, the God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore, we, his servants, will arise and build. But ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem.
Damn, that's right. That's right. All right, yeah, go ahead, read that.
Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 1. But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth and took great indignation and mocked the Jews.
So remember, he was just laughing. Remember in the beginning, he was just laughing at us like, y'all really about to try to build a wall?
Right.
Come on. Now you see the wall built. He like, oh, snap. Now he like, oh, now he pissed. That joke became anger now. Right. That's how they really feel. At first, they like, look, they on the streets. Now in the corner. But then the Barclays, then he like, oh, snap. What the hell?
That's right.
Now the fear is coming upon him. Same thing. Go ahead.
And he spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria and said, what do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burnt? Now Tobiah the Ammonite was by him, and he said, even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. Hear, O our God, for we are despised, and turn the reproach upon their own head.
See that? It says, hear, O our God, for we are despised. We are despised people, man.
Right.
Whether you believe it or not. The nations hate our guts.
Right.
They hate us. Okay? They hate our guts, man. Like Christ said in Matthew 24 and 29, he said you should be hated for my name's sake. By all nations. Not one nation, by all of them. Every last one of them. Go ahead.
Hear, O our God, for we are despised, and turn the reproach upon their own head, and give them for a prey in the land of captivity. And cover not their iniquity, and let not their sin be blotted out from before thee, for they have provoked thee to anger before the builders. So built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work.
Read.
But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites.
See, it's always more coming. It's always another, you know what I mean? They keep coming. And they keep harassing us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They keep coming back harassing us, man. Why? They trying to stop they trying to stop God's work. That's what they trying to do. That's what they want to do.
Right.
Go ahead.
Heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped. Then they were very wroth, and conspired all of them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it.
There you go. Psalms 83. They conspired with one consent. With one consent. Read on.
Nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God, and set a watch against them day and night because of them. And Judah said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall. And our adversaries said, they shall not know, neither see, till we come in the midst among them and slay them and cause the work to cease. And it came
so now they're conspiring to kill us, to make the work cease. I'm letting you know this is what history repeats itself. Look, these nations, man, this is how they conspire. This is how they secret plots. This is what they doing behind closed doors. They want to destroy us, man, so that this work stops completely. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole plan. yo, stop this thing from growing, stop this thing from expanding, whatever. All right, go ahead.
Verse 12. And it came to pass that when the Jews which dwelt by them came, they said unto us 10 times, from all places whence ye shall return unto us, they will be upon you. Therefore said I in the lower places behind the wall, and on the higher places, I even set the people after their families with their swords, their spears, and their bows.
You see that? We was ready to defend ourselves. Anything popped off, we was ready to defend ourselves. All right, go ahead.
And I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not ye afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your houses. And it came to pass, when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and God had brought their counsel to naught, that we returned all of us to the wall, everyone unto his work. And it came to pass from that time forth that the half of my servants wrought in the work, and the other half of them held both the spears, the shields, and the bows, and the habergeons. And the rulers were behind all the house of Judah. They which builded on the wall, and they that bear burdens, with those that laid, every one with one of his hands wrought in the work, and with the other hand held a weapon. For the builders, every one had his sword girded by his side, and so builded. And he that sounded the trumpet was by me. And I said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, the work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another. In what place, therefore, ye hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us. Our God shall fight for us. So we labored in the work, and half of them held the spears from the rising of the morning till the stars appeared. Likewise, at the same time said I unto the people, let every one with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be a guard to us, and labor on the day. So neither I, nor my brother, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard which followed me, none of us put off our clothes, saving that every one put them off for washing.
Right. So letting you know the hard times we went through around persecution, man. Persecution, being hindered from doing the Lord's work. All right. But in the midst of all of that, we still prevailed. We still prevailed in the midst of all of that. All right. So I'm gonna shut it down here. Life Laughs, I'll do a part 2 because I still want to get to Greece, to the Greek captivity and the Roman captivity, and also bring it up to today. All right, but I'm gonna shut it down right here. So hopefully y'all glean something from the class. All right. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.
Shalom.
Making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better. You've been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better. Cause the prophets here now. You better. Bring that out. Cause the prophets here now. See hanging on the corner, see hanging on the streets. Somebody run up on you, someday you never see. I got that Bible on me, don't need no gun. You got them questions, I get it like everyone. Looking like I come for war, even when I come in peace. 3 times I pray to the Lord, 3 times I turn to these. Pop out to the club, sipping on that cup. Everything you do, I done did and I gave it up. You've been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you've been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you better. Cause the prophets here now. You better. Bring that out. Cause the prophets here now. corners, but the prophets here, so you been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you better. Cause the prophets here now. You better. Cause the prophets here now.
So you think you a man, cause you pushing them drugs, while I'm taking care of my family and showing them love. And you thinking you high, well I'm thinking you not. Cause what really makes you a man is keeping the laws of God. Wait a minute, let me tell the truth. Life and death is set before you, what you gon' do. And if you wanna get them demons from above you, and I suggest you start repenting, man.
You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you better. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you better. Cause the prophets here now.
Prophets here, yeah. You better, man.
Cause the prophets here
We
now.
the saviors of the day.
You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you better. Cause the prophets here now. Cause the prophets here now. Fire, God's words is a fire. If you never get burned, you will never shine brighter. So we're gonna make it hotter. Come close, take a look now. Coming to the fire, like a brother Azariah. Praise up, going in, coming in the Naya. Meshat, look around you, see an angel right behind you. All of these heathen be capping it up. I'm the real king and there's no other one. When I touch down, your timing is up. Pouring out fury, so give me your cup. So you give me your cup and I'm filling it up. Babylon falling, ain't nowhere to run. Ain't no one stopping until all is done. Blow on the trumpet and bang on the drum. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so